Welcome to Makilala, which means get to know in Tagalog, the first Philam TV talk show in the New York metropolitan area. Today, first I want to introduce myself. I am Rachelle Ocampo. This is
Maria.
Jen.
Cristina.
Great. So, we're actually going to be talking about a very special and interesting topic, actually very intense topic. The Typhoon Haiyan, which is also known as Yolanda.
Mm-hmm.
I know that we've all come from different parts of the community, and we've all experienced different types of effects from the Philam community. On a personal note, I know that I was actually on the tolls and driving upstate, and the toll guy actually said to me, "Oh, is your family okay?" And I was like, "What? I don't even know you." And he's like, "Oh, you're Filipino, right?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Yeah, my family's okay. Thank you for asking. Can I have a receipt?" And I just drove off. But it's just an example of how everyone is watching. Everyone is watching the Philippines.
I think Tacloban is now the new Haiti.
Yes.
You know, remember when we had the Haiti devastation of a couple of years ago, and it was on everybody's minds. So now Tacloban has sort of imposed itself on the national consciousness.
Especially it's right after the earthquake. I mean, everyone was just trying to the earthquake was just sinking in that, this 7.2, I think, right, in Bohol. And then all of a sudden, now we have the super typhoon. So you're right, because I live in a community which there's only 3 Filipino families.
Wow.
And every single friend of mine, they're all like worried, "Oh, can you please tell us if your families are okay?" Which is like really nice, but everyone was just really concerned. That's
Really?
like,
There are only 3 Filipino families in
Yes.
Cranford?
Yes.
And you're one of them?
I know. I'm not a good one too.
What I
Out of
noticed about this event is how the media has become some kind of a sidebar to the whole story. You know, we've had stories about how the international media, CNN, BBC among them, has been, how do you explain it? Overcovering, undercovering the whole event.
I don't know. I've been watching, so ever since the storm started, once I saw it on the news and how huge it was, the entire country was practically under this typhoon. It was crazy. So when I saw that, it took me by surprise, and then I actually started watching the cable news reports and the Filipino news reports and the Filipino blogger sphere.
How do you compare all 3
And then
segments?
because I was born in the Philippines, but I didn't grow up there. So I'm I know this is gonna hit the country hard, and it's gonna be terrible. And we don't know what it's gonna look like, but I'm watching the report, and I'm even if these little towns wanted to escape, where are they gonna escape to? Because even if you're in an island and you're in this really old school or church, and the day after the hurricane, all these videos started coming up online where, the reporter is standing in the church and it's blowing away, and I'm telling my husband they have nowhere to they're done.
Do you feel that the media was not answering some of the questions you have in mind?
I think everybody is reporting what they're seeing. So the U.S. media is going to be reporting what they're seeing on the ground, and the Filipino media is going to be, reporting from the area they're at. Metro Manila wasn't. It was a regular hurricane, right? Not to downplay it, but
well, in a generation where most kids only have pay attention to 140 characters or big pictures with big headlines, or just look at newsflash. Did you really watch the entire episode, or did you really read into every detail? Because most kids are the only, "Oh my God, there's a lot of people dead."
Yeah.
But they didn't really look into what actually happened.
I feel I was yelling at the TV screen for 3 days straight. Because, again, I didn't grow up there, and I'm watching all these 3 outlets, right? And then watching, the Philippines president saying that, these municipalities and the areas should have been responsible for their people. And I'm even if they were, I'm watching the videos on the blogosphere where the mayor rode his bike up to you know, Tacloban, and is saying like, I want to do something, but all my people are dead, you know?
Yeah,
right.
so
It's crazy.
what I actually wanted us to actually talk about is specifically the typhoon relief efforts. And actually, we have a very special guest that has actually had some significant impact on typhoon relief. Her name is Ayesha Vera-Yu, and she is the CEO and co-founder of Advancement for Rural Kids, also known as ARC. And actually, before ARC, Ayesha was a banker by day and a self-taught farmer at night.
Farmer.
Wow.
She farms at night?
We'll have to
Well,
ask.
she was a farm at night.
We'll have to ask. But actually,
Okay.
our organization, Unipro, actually had her as a keynote speaker at our annual summit, which is held here in New York City, and it's the day before the Philippine Independence Day parade. And she actually talked about professional development and what the critical steps to get to the next level. So of course she said number one is to listen, and number two is to ask questions. So today we're going to be asking her, Ayesha, some questions about her work with ARC. So Miss Ayesha.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, so Ayesha, let's get right to it. Tell us a little bit more about ARC.
ARC. So, ARC stands for Advancement for Rural Kids, and we really empower farmers in the developing world, like the Philippines, to feed and keep their kids in school. So that's really our main thrust. Through our $15 per kid per day feeding program, we are able to get kids back to school, we're able to get them healthy, and most importantly, we're able to provide income to the families in these areas where, you know, people only make $2 to $3 a day and they really need extra income.
So how did you get involved with the typhoon relief efforts?
So all of our partner communities right now are in Capis, and literally the typhoon tracked where all of our communities are. So just, you know, as we were you guys were talking earlier about Tacloban, and I think what you know, I think as Filipinos, for some reason, like, we're not very good with geography.
Guilty.
And I love geography and I love maps. And I think one of the first things that the media, including other Filipinos, have forgotten is that this typhoon went on like 5 other islands in the country. And Capis was actually hit. Literally, it tracked the geographical lines of Capis. The typhoon was in Capis for over 5 hours. And you know, you guys were talking earlier about like what people, you know, were the municipalities, what they were doing. So the day before the typhoon hit, we were on the phone with our communities, and our local coordinator said, you know, by the way, there's no classes today. Governor Tanco like shut down all the schools, asked everyone to go home and prepare for this. There was, I believe, good communication from the government. I just think that because the country gets, 20 typhoons a year, and because a lot of these rural communities don't have televisions, nor do they have like just an understanding. They didn't see, like you were saying, Maria, they didn't see that this huge typhoon like spanned the entire country. So they didn't know what was hitting them. And I was on the phone, go ahead.
Tell us a little bit about Capis demographically.
Sure.
What is the population? How many dead? And what is the level of devastation?
Okay. So Capis is primarily an agricultural region. So you have a lot of rice farmers, corn farmers, primarily rice, and you also have like fishermen and women on the coast side. There's a lot of subsistence farmers who make $2 to $3 a day.
How many people live there?
To be honest, like, I haven't had any sleep since the relief efforts has come up, and so that's one of the things I have forgotten from a recall standpoint.
That's okay.
But we're talking about millions. I think the entire province is in the millions in terms of a population count. I do know for the 2 areas that we're in, which is Dumarao and Cuartero, and the eye of the storm, Haiyan, was in Cuartero at like noon their time. Cuartero has about 44,000 residents, individuals, and Dumarao has about 30. So in total, the 2 municipalities where we touch on, we're talking about over 70,000 people. And the communities that we touch on, we're talking about over 10,000, between 12 to 14,000 people.
What gravitated you to Capis? Why is that
Oh,
special for you?
It happenstance. My my grandparents are actually from Capis, are from Dumalag, and as Rachelle said, when I was a banker, and
Banker here in New York? Or
here in New
in
York.
the Philippines?
I was here in New York. I was an acquisition and LBO banker. So during the height of acquisition activity, M&A activity, in 2006, my mom had come up to me to ask if I had wanted to invest in the farm. And
Your farm.
my grandparents' farm. So they are
Oh,
In
my
the
farm.
Philippines?
in the
Yeah,
Philippines. And so my grandparents have passed away and gave it to my mom and her 8 other brothers and sisters. It's not that big of a farm, but it's families. It's a family farm.
What do you
So
grow?
primarily rice, but part of the restructuring that I did with my mom, which got me involved, was turning it into a holistic farm. So making it, first of all, from chemical to organic, and bringing in livestock and bringing in vegetables, really making it a closed and complete ecology. Like we really wanted life to grow back again. And so that really moved me, and that's really what got me interested in farming. And so that's what got me to Capis.
How was your farm affected by the typhoon?
And wait, how was your family? Because I didn't know that your grandparents were from Capis.
Yes, yes. So
that means
my,
how's your family?
thank God, we heard they're all safe, they're all alive. We heard from the last relative 2 nights ago that she's alive.
Do they have
so
electricity there right now?
no, so
You mean all this
Capis-
time you didn't hear from them? It
Yes,
must be, like,
all this time.
heartbreaking.
It was not easy. Capis is in a state of emergency. We're hearing a lot about Tacloban, and Tacloban is devastating. The deaths in Tacloban is just staggering. That surge is incredible. But so the other islands like Capis, Mindoro, the northern part of Cebu, you don't have that many casualties or fatalities because they didn't have the surge. But I have to tell you, it looks exactly the same as Tacloban. 95% of the homes, of the buildings in Capis are damaged. There's no electricity for the next 3 to 6 months.
What's the casualty like?
Right now, the last time I checked, I was looking at fatalities, not casualties. It was in the hundreds, near the 1,000 level. The casualties a little bit more. When you look at Capis, you have coastal, upland, and lowland. The coastal, in that coastal area is devastated. It's done. Like even near Capis, there's like oil spills that we're talking about because they have like power or oil, like rigs off the coast, and those rigs are now on land and spilling oil, and we haven't even heard about it. The upland part of Capis, thank God, is a little bit better. But the worst part is all of these mountains, all of these hills that used to be wooded are no longer wooded. All the trees are down.
Do you feel
when
that
you
your province is being left out?
Oh,
in the-
absolutely.
So when you
Absolutely.
watch the news and you see them all talk about Tacloban, do you go like, what about my town? Do you,
Yes,
like, get
yes and
upset?
no. Yes and no, because I think the world should hear about Tacloban. I don't want to take any media pressure, any media away from what's going on in Tacloban, because like as you said, Cristina, it is kind of like Haiti to a certain extent. In the devastation and in the inability of the people right now to get access to food, to shelter, and much needed support. But I do feel that on another hand, that I wish we could start, creating some room in media, creating some room in our consciousness to start thinking about the other islands, to actually start providing kind of highlighting some of, for example, our local partners on the ground who are victims, but we don't call them victims because they're our assets. Like as soon as we got in contact with them, despite no electricity, I mean, I've got school heads who are climbing on the top of their homes without roofs just to catch signal. Like this is for real, and I have as soon as I get in touch with them, I hear the shock in their voices. I hear it. And these are school heads who are like proactive and constructive. These are the people who are helping us, on normal ARC operations, feed kids on 2 pesos a day, protein and vegetables, mobilizing the communities. But after that first, you know, after they found out, right, after like our local coordinator, I just have to tell you this, our local coordinator, we were planning the relief efforts while she had water in her home because her roof is gone and there was another storm 3 days later. She was on the phone, she had to borrow her brother's battery, cell phone battery, in order to like just get through to us because it was so hard to get through to them. But despite all of this, despite the devastation around them, the inability to get power, the inability to connect with us, as soon as we connect for that, I don't know, that flimsy 5 minutes, 10 minutes, as soon as I tell them, there are people in New York, there are people around the world, there are all these supporters of ARC, Filipinos and non-Filipinos who care for you, and we've raised funds already, get to Iloilo, get to the nearest city, and we'll send you the funds, and we'll get the relief to the people who need the relief.
What are the immediate needs of Capis right now?
What is your priority?
The priority
Like
right
the
now
first thing.
is, the first thing is one, food. Food because, as you know, all of these farmers lived off their land. They lived off that tree for their guava fruit, for, you know, they lived off like their rice paddies, for that kangkong, you know, for that ginger, for everything. All of those is gone. The rice paddies have been ravaged. And
Does that include your farm?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, my mom told me that the farm looks like it's been bombed.
Oh.
And she, you know, she's like, everything's been, she's like, what once was wooded is now a clearing. And that's devastating for farmers who live off, you know, that is their main source of food.
How do you get food now? That's
So, thank God. So I'm gonna draw the island a little bit. So this we're talking about the island of Panay, which is one of the biggest islands in the Visayas. So Capis is right here, Aklan is right here, Iloilo is right here. So there's three main cities in the island.
Where is Tacloban there? In your hand.
Tacloban is like here.
So you're quite far. So you're quite far from Tacloban.
Yes, but it's
but
not really that far
affected.
because you've got Tacloban, Cebu, Negros, and then Panay.
So Visayas is kind of sprawling.
Visayas is sprawled. When I describe the Philippine map to other Filipinos or other friends who are non-Filipinos, I say it's like the bituka. It's like the intestines, you know, it's like all over. It's like, so this is the path, right? So Tacloban, northern Cebu, it skipped Negros for the most part, and then you've got Panay. So it like went that way, and then Mindoro, and then Palawan. So in this island, Iloilo City is still operational because it was, for the most part, fairly missed. Northern Iloilo is hit badly, but Iloilo City is ongoing. So as soon as we get the people to Iloilo, they have to figure out their transportation. But as soon as they get to Iloilo, it's our job to figure out how we get money through Western Union. I know that's a plug for Western Union, but they've been giving us fee-less coursing through Western Union because it's the most efficient way right now. But we had to figure out, you know, even Western Union is overwhelmed. They were limiting the amount of funds that we could send from here to Manila, to Iloilo, and also the lines are long, and it was limited into like how much each person could get. Like Western Union agents they had to go to different Western Union offices because they were they were running out of cash.
So from Iloilo, once they get the money.
Once they get to Iloilo, this is where the ARC infrastructure makes the whole provisioning ridiculously effective. We already know the suppliers. So our local coordinator would just go to the same place where we get our school supplies, which by the way only costs us less than $5 per kid for the whole year. So she goes to this store, they know her, they put her in the beginning of the line, and we provision everything. What the people in our communities got, 10,000, the first 10,000 got their relief goods this early in the morning at 2 a.m. New York City time. And this, by the way, started, we sent the money Wednesday p.m., Thursday early morning at 3 a.m., Thursday a.m. So we're talking about 48 hours from funds to food in people's hands.
What exactly are they getting?
Right now, right?
They're getting, each family right now, I hope my memory serves me right, each family right now are getting 6 cans of sardines, actually doubled. It became 12 cans of sardines, 12 cans of like corned beef. They're getting rice, 3 kilos of rice per family. Some got noodles, because certain villages did not want noodles, certain villages wanted noodles, and we listened to what they want. Even though I would prefer mongo.
Yeah.
And we also provided candles. provided matches, and we provided soap, detergent, because they have to wash their clothes,
Yeah.
you know, and because of it's been wet.
Is there any other relief in Capis right now?
No,
Still.
no, no, still.
You're the only one?
We're the only one right now that we know of.
Wow.
Yes.
What about the local government? Are they helping
The
you?
local government, here's the problem with the local government right now. The calamity funds at the local government, whether it's at the barangay level or the provincial level, is so tiny. We heard from some of the villages, even as an example, the biggest village in the municipality of Cuartero is our partner community, Agdahon. It's got 467 households or families and over 2,500 people. They got 5 sacks to serve 2,500 people. Just 5 sacks of
How
relief.
does that even make sense?
It doesn't. And you know, the barangay captain, as soon as the barangay captain got the relief goods, the barangay captain was worried. He was like, how am I even going to distribute this fairly? I'm going to have a lot of people angry.
Yeah,
And it makes sense, right? So that's the reason why, as soon as we heard that, as soon as we connect with the people, we tell them, I don't care what you do, get to Iloilo, we'll get you the funds. We have the infrastructure there. So to go back to that story, as soon as we get to the store, we provision, we get the goods. I also want to say that we're the only relief right now who are thinking beyond the relief. We're thinking about recovery, medium term and long term. So we got the people nails right away. We got the people seeds right away because we want to make sure that next week, while they have food in their stomach already, they're working. They're working back in their gardens. So that way, 4 weeks from now, they're actually harvesting their own food. And we're giving back food security in their hands, and we're not making them handouts. You know, this is this
I
is
like
a
that idea.
Sustainability, yes.
yes.
When my kids went to the Philippines the first time, it was 7 years ago, and they first experienced the squatters area. I mean,
Yeah.
they lived through it, and they visited kids from there. And they asked, and then that's how we started, like a kind of like a scholarship program for the
Yeah.
kids. It was only 25 cents a week,
Yes.
and it ends up to be $100 a year,
Yes.
which is a lot more than what you have in your
Yes.
program.
Yes.
You could send a kid to
Yes.
school, transportation, and food. And your program is that you're also empowering them
Oh, absolutely.
to learn how to
Absolutely.
farm.
Yeah.
I think I just found another project for my children.
Yes, please. We actually do a lot of school-to-school projects, but you're hitting it at the core of what ARC does. We only partner with communities who want to help themselves. It's just that simple. There's so many sad stories, whether it's in the Philippines or the other developing world. And the way we partner is, the way our thinking is, we can't really help everyone. We can only help whether it's on a regular situation and especially on an emergency situation. We can only be effective and help those who are helping themselves. And so these, you know, Ma'am Bibing, our local coordinator, Sir Romy from Agdahon, Sir Mabini from Cuartero, I mean, from Bitoon, I mean, they left their homes roofless. They left their kids with their neighbors or their other family members to go to Iloilo to provision for their communities.
What is the disposition of the people of Capis? Is there a sense of desperation, a sense of helplessness that the
Yes
government
and
is not
no.
there?
Yes
You
and
know?
no. So there is a sense of they felt forgotten. In our first calls, I had a sense, like I was saying earlier, like these partners that we have, they're really constructive, positive partners. They're like the best, and they're awesome leaders. And I got like, the first time I spoke to them, it was like a shell that I was speaking to. Like you could tell, like they're still like devastated, right? I mean, I can't blame them. It just happened 3 days ago, you know, when we first
right,
spoke
yeah.
to them. But as soon as they heard that people like you guys cared, people like Unipro, right, that sent out and partnered with us and sent out the information to so many people and got us awareness and got us funds. As soon as they heard that, they felt lifted. They were like, "Oh my God, we thought you've forgotten."
And just as a closing, because I want to make sure that we get your information out
Yes.
there. So how can we reach you?
Easy, ruralkids.org.
Good.
And-
and how about Twitter? I know
Twitter,
I
we're
see you
on
guys
Rural
Twitter.
Kids.
Yes.
Rural Kids, and for
Yeah,
you know
Facebook
the
also.
up-to-date, like if you want real live updates from the field, we are on Facebook, Advancement for Rural Kids.
Great.
And you're not just for kids, right?
No, I mean
It's for the
it's
whole
not just for me; it's for the whole
For the whole
community.
community.
I like
It's
your
for
art, it's like
farmer.
acts of random
So
kindness.
I know
so.
that Maria has just one more closing information before we go on to our next segment, but just as a closing, as a final reminder.
Just, final reminder, it's like, I know we've been hit, like the Philippines is in a state of calamity and devastation right now, but it's been actually really nice to see all the outpouring of support, you know, for ARC and from all these other organizations. You know, it's like the world's helping out, you know, the Philippines. Right?
So just so that everybody wants to get any more information on Makilala, go to our website at MakilalaTV.com. And you can also reach us at our Twitter or Facebook, which is MakilalaTV. And I actually wanted to let everyone know that as we've been doing more Makilala episodes, we realized, wow, there's so much Phil-Am talent out there, and we want to feature them. So this is a very special episode because it's going to be our first one where we feature Phil-Am talent in our community. Miss Kay Habana, who is a soprano. She is actually a recent New Jersey recipient of Performing Arts, and you can look her up at facebook.com/Kay Habana. Look up for her upcoming album, March 2014. Now, without further ado, let's give a warm welcome to Miss Kay Habana.
See trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed day, the dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They learn much more than I'll ever know, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
Thank you, Kay.
Thank you to you guys, and thank you to everyone out there who's been supporting and thinking of the people in Tacloban, in Capis, in all the islands that were hit. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you. It was also a beautiful